Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how I do this finishing for these balloons. I've already done a couple balloons here and I'm going to do this one for the demo. So when you're done knitting these socks, this is the intarsia sample. Either for the intarsia or the stranded sample, you will still have a few steps of finishing to do in order to complete the look of the balloon. So first you'll make this little balloon tie beneath, at the very bottom of the balloon, using a French knot, and it creates this like neat little three-dimensional ball here. And then you'll make a highlight on the balloon using duplicate stitch, and lastly you'll make the balloon string here. For this you use one strand of yarn for the string, and then you'll use another strand of yarn to sew it down. You can see those little bumps here where I've sewed it down at these regular intervals. You'll notice I only have the leg of the sock here done. It's because when I do any sort of finishing on a sock, I find it, if it's on the leg, I find it easier to have like both ends to work with. So what I did is when I was finished with the leg, I just put it on waste yarn and I blocked it, and I'm gonna finish it before I put it back on the needles to resume the heel, as well as, the rest of the foot. So when you're working, if you work the intarsia version, one advantage of that is you will have the yarn already there to make these little balloon ties. So I've left attached each tail of the intarsia balloons from when I finished that color. So you'll just use this tail. For the stranded option, you'll be able to use the last balloon in a row for this, and then you'll need to attach another strand of the same color that matches the balloon for all the other balloons. So first I'm going to make the balloon tie with a French knot. So I'm going to take my strand of yarn here and thread it through my yarn needle. What I did here with this tail is I did weave it in just a couple of stitches before I blocked it, just to secure that last stitch and pull it tight, because it will be a little loose when you're done. But I didn't weave it in any further than that, so that I could have it available to do it here. So for this, you're gonna come up, bring it from the wrong side to the right side, sorry, I went off the camera there. You're gonna bring up the tail from the wrong side to the right side in the second stitch below the bottom of the balloon. So this is stitch number 1, this is stitch number 2 here. So I'm gonna bring it up here. Okay, I'll try to make sure to keep this in the viewport, and pull it, make sure it's pulled snug, not overly tight though. And for a French knot, you're going to hold the strand in your left hand. You're gonna make your, hold your yarn needle horizontally like this. Wrap the strand twice around the needle. So this is 1, 2. And then you're going to insert the needle. You're gonna hold on to the stitch and insert it back down into the first stitch right below that balloon. Not the same hole, because then it'll just come right back through. It'll be the one right above. And pull it through, and as you do that, you're gonna wanna hold this loop of yarn tight with your hand, your left hand, your other hand that's not pulling the yarn needle, and just kind of tension it as you go. And once it gets very small, you can let go and pull it through. Again, not too tight, and then you'll wind up with this nice little ball there. So next I'm going to make my balloon highlight and my string. So I have a piece of white scrap yarn here. I'm going to thread through my yarn needle. First, I'll make the highlight at the top of the balloon here using duplicate stitch. By the way, I'll definitely link more extensive tutorials of all these techniques. Just in case this demo isn't working for you, you can watch like more thorough tutorials. So those will definitely be linked in the pattern. So for this top row of balloons, the highlight is, let's see, I'm gonna start here and count 1, 2, 3. It's on stitch number 4 and 2 in from the side. So this is the stitch I want to be the highlight. So first I'm going to bring the new strand from the wrong side to the right side up through the bottom of this stitch here. Make sure to leave a tail long enough to weave in later. And then for duplicate stitch, you're going to go from right to left through the arms, or sorry, through the legs of the stitch just above the stitch you want to cover. And pull it through. Pull it snug, but not too tight, because otherwise it would tighten too much and kind of obscure the covering. It would kind of be hidden. And then you're going to bring it back down through that same hole, the same original hole you came up through. Again, you'll pull it snug, but don't pull it too tight. So there is my highlight. Now, if your string color will be the same as the highlight, like mine here, you can use the same strand. So what you're going to do is you're going to weave it down here. You need it to start right here, so you can just weave it down through the balloon here. Another advantage of the intarsia version, kind of makes up for all the intarsia ends you'll need to weave in, is it's a little bit easier to weave it down. So I just I'll weave it through one purl bump just to kind of secure that. So I just kind of weave it down the side like this. It goes very fast. Oops, I caught that other tail there. There we go. Whoops. I am bumping things all over the place. I'm just gonna adjust that tension. There we go, because I messed that up. And weave in down here. And I'm just going to bring it closer to the bottom here. So this will be the strand of yarn I use for the balloon string. So what I'm gonna do is you'll bring it up from the wrong side to the right side again. I use the same hole the French knot came out of, and pull it snug but not too tight. And then you're gonna take your yarn needle out and just leave that there for now. And then you're going to take your second strand of yarn, thread it through your yarn needle, and you're going to use the second strand of yarn to sew down the string of this balloon. And you'll kind of, as you do that, you'll kind of hold this down in the placement that you want it to be with your other hand. So first you'll secure the top. So bring it up from the wrong side to the right side, right next to where that strand is emerging. Personally, I do kind of split the stitch next to it because it helps me get a little closer to the strand, and it makes the little bumps here not as obtrusive. And you're going to now bring the yarn over top of it and down the other side, and sew it down from the right side to the wrong side this time. And now my top is secure. And as you do this, I want my balloon strings to kind of curve a little bit like this. So I'm going to try to hold it down like this as I go, you know, one place at a time. So I'm going to look at this and kind of judge, okay, I want my next bit to land right here. I did it about every 1/8 of an inch or so. It doesn't have to be very exact. And I'm going to come up right here. And hold that down with my left hand and come on down the other side. And pull it snug, and then you can kind of adjust the strand as you go as well. And I want the whole thing to kind of be like this. So I'm going to do my next one here. Come on back over the top and down. And I'm going to do a last one. So I'm going to decide how I want to end this. And I'm going to end it about here. So I'll come up through this guy. And over and down. And then you'll weave in that end. Last thing to do is to pick up the strand that is the string and thread it through your yarn needle again. And you're going to thread that back down to the wrong side. I'm going to extend it just a little bit, so I'm going to thread it down here. You'll weave that in, you'll weave in all these ends. And there is my string and little tie and my highlight for my balloon.